All right, so today, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit up every pet store in town within like a 20-minute drive. And I'm also gonna try out this this new GoPro mount I set up in the Jeep here. And so let me turn you. And we'll see how this works out. All right, so this is a little local place. I don't think they're gonna have anything for me here because I'm pretty sure they don't have any salt water, and they don't even really have that much fresh water, but we're gonna see what they've got and see if I can't find something. So I was totally wrong. They do in fact have saltwater supplies in there. I mean, this isn't really a saltwater supply necessarily, but I bought a brine shrimp hatchery kit. They have lots and lots of brine shrimp eggs and no way to hatch them. So this store we're coming up on is a favorite place of mine. It's about a block from the house, surprisingly. And it's basically in just a house on the street here. And this is it here. Tropicorium. Like I said, it's just somebody's house, and in the back of it they do saltwater aquarium stuff, and nothing but saltwater aquarium stuff. So we're gonna head on inside and maybe see if they'll let me film a little bit in there. I'm gonna try to narrate this because there's lots of little kids and stuff like that. So this is one of their tanks. One of the things they're known for is sharks. So these are some of the little baby sharks that are actually for sale. I think they're like 200 bucks a piece, and that's like their propagation room, and they've got like more sharks back there. Some more corals and stuff. I'll take you through there in a minute. There's some of their frags. They got some apostasy issues, and that's all right. They also have some cyano, but whatever. I mean, it's hard to avoid. I'm no one to complain. They've got so many clownfish, different morphs. This is one of the bigger sharks. So in a second, I'm gonna stick my hand down there as comparison, but he is like 6 or 8 feet long. I mean, this thing is huge, but it's so friendly. If you come up to the tank, he'll come over and say hi. And here's some of the corals I've got in the back there. Gorgs and different kinds of algae and stuff. And then this other tank, it's like stingray, and they cure rock in there, I guess. There's a stingray down here by the side. Then there's another shark right here. I got this tank with all the little skulls in it, and this giant fish that always comes by and says hi. Again, really friendly fish. I mean, you must think I'm gonna feed him or something. But I like how they put a whole bunch of skulls in there, and they've been in there for years growing coral and algae. Blacker ice clowns. I definitely think I want a pair of these. There's another pair that's much friendlier. Another one over here. I mean, they have lots of different pattern morphs on clownfish. Thinking about a couple of these too. Maybe the Coral Beauty or that blue line one. I think it's an angel of some sort. You got more tanks on the back row there. This is a middle row. That one's pretty. I forget what they call it, but it'd be really nice. Have one of those. We got that big eel there. Got these frag tanks. This is an enemy tank, but they want so much for a bubble tip. They want $200 for a bubble tip. They have this big frag tank with just absolutely everything in it. I mean, lots and lots of stuff. My camera doesn't do it justice. I mean, everything in there is beautiful. They just got in this whole giant rack of Recordias. I may have to go back. Another thing they used to do a lot at this shop was rocking enemies. So they still have a lot. Almost forgot to stop here. This is Bruce's Pawn Shop. So as you can see, I got a bunch of stuff here to bring home. The actual name of this store is Aquatic Treasures, but it's also known as Bruce's Pawn Shop. And Bruce is a great guy. I just had a long conversation with him about a whole bunch of different stuff. He's really great, knows his stuff, and he'll teach you so that you know your stuff too. And that's something really rare in the fish store community. What we got at Bruce's, we got this beautiful bubble tip anemone, which you'll get a better look at once I'm able to get it out of here. And then I also got one of my favorite fish. Had one in here for a while, but things happen. Yellow clown goby. Last one was green. The last one that I had was green anyway. This one's yellow. But we're gonna go ahead and get these guys acclimated to the tank and drop them in. So in addition to the bubble tip anemone and yellow clown goby I got, also got, Bruce carries these Reef Nutrition brand Tigger pods. So since the algae barn pods were kind of few and far between, these are just absolutely loaded. So I'm gonna pour about half of these into the refugium here, and I realize I've been saying that wrong for I don't know how long. I've been saying refugarium, but the word is refugium. So about half of them are going to go in here, and half of them are going to go in that tank over there. So I poured them straight into my refugium, a ball of chaetomorph there, and they all disappeared immediately, but hopefully they set up shop in there. So I would really like to have pods in this aquarium too, just for the biodiversity factor. And the remaining more than half a bottle of these Tigger pods are going in here. The moment of truth has arrived, and we're gonna release what's in these bags into the aquarium. We start with the clown goby. Now he's in there with tank water now. I've slowly been replacing the bag water with the tank water. So we'll just try and let him free swim out, but he's gonna want to hide in the corner. There he goes, he's coming. And he's out. Meeting his new buddies. Giving them a little push. I think they decided they're going to be friends. Still giving them a little nip just to let them know, hey, this is my spot, go away.
But wow, is that ever a friendly little clown goby? So now I'm gonna let this nem loose. Hopefully it lands on this rock here because it's out of the path of the power heads. Usually that didn't go to plan, so I had to just drop the nem in immediately. He landed in a pretty good spot. So if he sets up camp there, I will be pleased. Let's get a look from overhead. So I have a pretty bad reputation with nems. I'm hoping to keep this one alive. Clown goby sitting on a rock over here, looks really happy to be in the tank. And the clownfish are tolerating his presence. I need to clean the side of the glass. But fingers crossed that the nem will be happy, and even better still that the clownfish will eventually host it. Because they have hosted in the past. When I first got them, I had a nem, and they would hang out in it. They also had hammer coral that they would mess around in, but that was before the whole lighting disaster. And what do you do when you get some new fish? Try and feed everybody. I'm tossing in some pellets. The only fear I have for this clown goby is that orange clownfish is the most voracious eater out of any fish I've ever seen. And I'm afraid he's not going to let anybody else get any food. Yeah, see? Just cannot feed her fast enough. Pretty sure that's the female since that's the bigger one of the two. Alright, so that'll be the last of the food I throw in there. Because he's not going to share, or pardon me, she's not going to share. But the clownfish looks, or the clown goby looks happy. He should be fine for the night. So what else I got was for this tank here, which I haven't shown you yet. So a 20-gallon tall planted tank. So there's like an inch or two of actual dirt in here, capped off with sand, and all this is built up in the meantime. I also have Malaysian trumpet scales in there because they dig down into the sand and dirt, release air. There's also worms of some sort in the dirt. I can see them from the bottom. And then there's this giant betta here. Don't let his pretty face fool you. He's a killer. He murdered his last two tank mates. But I got him some new ones today. So I got two albino bristlenose plecostomus and one super red bristlenose. So it's kind of early to tell whether they're males or females. Hopefully I got at least one male in there, because they look all amazing with their bristles and stuff like that. And they're replacing one that I had in here that has been gone for some time, but he lived a full life and got pretty big before the end. I get bristlenose because, again, this is a 20-gallon tank, and for most plecostomus, this is way too small of a tank. But for bristlenose, it's just the right size. So I'm going to let them out, and hopefully big dumb betta there doesn't try to eat them. One's out, two's out. What are you doing? Leave them alone. Go away, leave them alone. Feed you in a minute. Come up here. Hey, leave them alone. So I got one still in the thing and one sucking on the bottom. All right, one more's out, and I'm just gonna pull the cup out and make the last albino have to let go on his own. There he goes. He's free. And of course, Betta, being the little jerk that he is chasing the red one. Toss some food in here, maybe that'll distract him. Yeah, he sees the jar. So get him some pellets to shut him up, calm him down a little bit maybe. And while we're at it, we're going to toss in a nice algae wafer. Try and be somewhere where I can see it. Right there. And of course, Betta's going to try to eat that too, because he's a monster. So, in addition to the dirt and sand, got a bunch of plants in here. Some Anubias, whatever these big brown ones are. And there was once a Java moss ball in there. And it's basically what I started with, and a few other plants, a couple swords. I think that's still the remnants of a sword over there. But most of that died out. This tall brown stuff here is propagated. Anubis has propagated. It's got little sproutlings all over the place. You can see them. And the moss ball turned into all this. I mean, there's a piece of driftwood in here. It's a pretty big piece of driftwood. And that's all you can see of it. That and that giant root that's growing in the middle of it looks like it's part of the Anubias. It's trying to come through the hole in the middle of the driftwood. But the red guy's moving around, and of course Betta's chasing him. Hopefully he eventually gets the idea that these guys aren't food. For some reason he only wants to look at their tails. But thankfully there's so much stuff in there. These little guys should be able to hide from the big jerk. With the old bigger Plecostomus I had in here, you'd go days without seeing them. There's so many places to hide, even when it's not completely covered in this Java moss mat, which I might actually have to trim back here soon. But this tank has been up and running for about 8 years now. Maybe 9. I think it's closer to 9. And the filter doesn't always run. I mean, I've had periods of 6 months or longer where I just didn't even run the filter. It doesn't need it. It doesn't grow any kind of nuisance algae. The plants keep the oxygen levels pretty good. And I don't dose any carbon dioxide or anything like that. I was just really careful with the first couple of years with the bottom, poking it with sticks and releasing any trapped gases and stuff like that, but I don't even do that anymore. This tank is basically a self-contained ecosystem. All I do is top it off. So I went out and had some fun, and I come back home to this. Trying to be sneaky, but she is all kinds of hosting. This makes me so happy. You have no idea. This is basically the entire point of me having saltwater tanks. Is that right there. Clownfish hosting an anemone. That's going to be it for this episode.
Check back for the next episode. It's probably going to be about the cube because there is news about the anemone. And you're going to have to watch the next episode to find out. So until next time, I'll see you later.